Good evening. The Health and Wellness Ministry has confirmed Jamaica's third case of monkeypox. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says the person contracted the virus locally and is in isolation at home. The case is being investigated and contact tracing has begun. Especially during this festive season, Jamaicans are again being urged to remain vigilant by heightening their adherence to the infection prevention measures for COVID-19, which are effective in limiting the spread of monkeypox, notably frequent hand washing and sanitization, mask wearing, and physical distancing. Symptoms of monkeypox are usually mild to moderate and include fever, intense headache, swelling of the lymph nodes, back pain, muscle ache, and/or a rash on the skin. Members of the public who experience these warning signs must immediately isolate and call ahead to their health center or doctor before visiting. For additional information on monkeypox, members of the public can visit the ministry's website at www.moh.gov.jm or contact their parish health departments. Additionally, Jamaicans are encouraged to practice safer sexual behaviors. Mello TV will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. In other news tonight, the National Environment Planning Agency says Windalco will be served with notice of intention to suspend its environmental permits and licenses due to Rio Cobre pollution. During a media conference held earlier today, NEPA boss Peter Knight noted that Windalco will be prosecuted for breaches. He says the process has started to draw down on the full US $771,551 environmental performance bond posted by UC Rusal Windalco, and the company must replenish the bond as soon as that process is completed. Meanwhile, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, in response to this new development, had this to say.
The public should have seen today that NEPA would have come to the country with a list of actions that are going to be taken to hold Windalco accountable for the recent spill. They listed three main things that will take place. One, they've initiated prosecution. Two, they have initiated the process to draw down on the environmental performance bond, some 770,000 US, over 115 million Jamaican dollars. And three, they have started the process, or rather intend to start the process, to initiate suspension of the environmental permits and licenses. This, to my mind, is a demonstration of how serious this administration is taking the issue of environmental protection. We're not perfect, but we certainly are working hard to ensure that we do all in our power to hold those accountable who breach our environmental standards and our environmental laws. We're also doing all we can to demonstrate to the public that we're not paying lip service to the environment. We protected the cockpit country. We're protecting the Pedro banks, as the Prime Minister would have said in Parliament shortly. And unlike those who would have done things like build on Goat Island or approve coal plants for St. Elizabeth, this government is saying we will do all in our power to protect our air quality, our water quality, and certainly our soil quality. Today is a good day for environmental action. I'm saddened by what would have happened, and I regret any displacement of those who live along that space. And the government will intervene to provide further support because we know people are hurting.
Mello TV will bring you more updates on this story in subsequent newscasts. Continuing with the news tonight, a man who was reported missing a week ago was found dead yesterday afternoon near the Winston Jones Highway in Manchester. He has been identified as Sean Johnson. The 27-year-old was a floor mechanic and janitor of Trinity Main Road, Porus, Manchester, who was reported missing on Thursday, July 28. Reports from the Mandeville Police coming into our news center are that Johnson left home at about 7:30 p.m. to purchase KFC in Mandeville town. He was wearing a blue t-shirt, cut-off blue jeans, a burgundy hat, and a pair of white slippers. The body had a bullet wound to the head. Still tonight, a manhunt is underway for 4 prisoners who escaped from the Ocho Rios police lockup in St. Anne this morning. Reports coming into our news center are that at about 1 a.m., police officers on duty performed routine cell checks shortly after sounds were heard coming from the direction of the cell, and the police went to investigate. An alarm was raised when 4 prisoners were discovered missing from their cells. The escapees are 40-year-old Terence Harilal of Claremont St. Anne, charged with shooting with intent, 42-year-old Dennis Colburn of Islington St. Mary, charged with rape, 22-year-old Javar Grant of Priory St. Anne, charged for illegal possession of firearm, and 30-year-old Jermaine Rogers of Mile End in Ocho Rios St. Anne, charged with illegal possession of firearm. Preliminary investigations indicate that implements were used to cut sections of the metal gates of the cells, allowing the prisoners to escape. Residents of Ocho Rios and the surrounding communities are being urged to be on the lookout for any strangers in their community. Persons who see suspicious activities are being encouraged to call the Ocho Rios Police at 876-974-2469, Police Emergency 119, or Crime Stop at 311. The Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau, IPROBE, is investigating. As we continue with the news, 28-year-old Donovan Stewart, a taxi operator of James Street in Rosetown, Kingston 13, has been charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition and robbery with aggravation. Stewart's charges stem from an incident that occurred along Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11, on Thursday, July 28. According to reports, a man and his 2 sons met Stewart to purchase a motor car that was advertised for sale on a social media platform. Stewart reportedly led the prospective buyers along a dirt track leading to the Rosetown community, where he showed them a different motor vehicle from the one that was advertised. Stewart tried to convince the man to buy the vehicle. The man refused and proceeded to leave when Stewart and 2 other men pounced on him. The hoodlums robbed the man and his sons at gunpoint of 3 cellular phones and 614,000 Jamaican dollars. Following investigations, Stewart was arrested and subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. Still making Mello TV news, the curfew in effect in Gregory Park, St. Catherine has been extended. The curfew will remain in effect until 6 p.m. tomorrow. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows. North along the Dyke Road, about 1,759 meters from the roundabout to the intersection of the Portmore Villa Boulevard and Dyke Road. East along Dyke Road, about 695 meters from the intersection of Portmore Villa Boulevard to the train line. South along the train line from the intersection of Dyke Road to the intersection of the Municipal Boulevard, about 2,080 meters, and then west along the Municipal Boulevard, about 1,322 meters from the intersection of the train line to the roundabout. Persons are being reminded that during the hours of the curfew, all persons within the boundaries are required to remain within their premises unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. Continuing with the news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Wednesday led the handing over of keys to a new set of Jamaicans at a ceremony for Ruthven Towers Phase 1. During his keynote address, Prime Minister Holness expressed that he was particularly elated that a majority of the selectees, approximately 66%, were within the 25 to 40 age range.
It is a pleasure to be with you this morning to participate in the handing over ceremony and ribbon cutting exercise for Ruthven Towers Phase 1. Ruthven Towers Phase 1 is an 8-story gated residential complex comprising 86 apartments, 72 one-bedroom apartments, and 14 two-bedrooms. The development is situated on 1.2 acres of land in the highly sought-after New Kingston area, with convenient access to business and entertainment. The development will be completed in 2 phases. When both phases are completed, Ruthven Towers will have the most modern amenities, such as electronic gate entry, stationed security personnel, 24-hour security surveillance, adequate parking, green spaces, recreational and play areas, gym, water storage tanks, and other amenities, including a multi-purpose court for tennis, basketball, and netball, and a swimming pool. The National Housing Trust financed the project and were the project managers.
The National Housing Trust, NHT, plans to construct 7,138 housing solutions under its developers program. The Prime Minister said that the development forms part of the several housing developments to be delivered under the NHT's current housing plan for Kingston and St. Andrew. Some of the developments to be delivered include Majesty Gardens, Rasta City, Vineyard Town, and Maxfield Park.
Our decision to increase the horsepower of the NHT in building houses is precisely because, for the NHT's history, even though it is the mandate for it to build houses and make housing solutions available, over its entire history, the NHT has not built over 160,000 units in total. So you can understand why there is this housing demand deficit, and why we're going to have to think creatively and use different methods if we're going to see a genuine increase in the housing solutions that are being brought to market. We have some housing solutions planned for Kingston and St. Andrew, which will provide approximately 1,500 housing solutions, and these will be in 14 locations, including Majesty Gardens, Foreshore Road Estate, Rasta City, and Vineyard Town. So within that 1,500, we are making sure that the majority of it goes to affordable income and the lowest income earning category, so that there is genuine societal equity in how the NHT operates.
Mr. Holness further explained that the NHT's housing program is focused on bringing to market a mix of housing solutions, with the majority being housing solutions for the affordable housing markets.
The NHT received 389 applications during the period November 12 to 16, 2001, and 80 eligible contributors were selected. 6 units have been reserved for public sector workers. 58% of the selectees were women, and 66% of the total number of selectees fall within the age range 25 to 40. Let me emphasize that all selectees are NHT contributors. I make this point because it is important that we acknowledge that the NHT contributors come from all walks of life in our society. This is the 3rd development of this type that the NHT has done in the last 28 years. Further, the Ruthven development represents less than 1% of the projects currently being undertaken by the NHT, as all other projects are done, being developed to cater to affordable housing solutions.
And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. Stay safe, pleasant viewing, and thanks for watching.